Communities. I cannot believe we're already here in September for our last theme of this year of communities. But if we're in the last month of communities, it also means next month is the conference. So if you have not bought your ticket, you absolutely should go do that after you're done with this, and find a friend or 10 to bring along with you for a great weekend. My name is Amanda Popp, and I am here to talk about service. Uh, so for years, people would ask me if I was ever going to go to Haiti, and I wasn't called, is what I would tell them. My husband, Sean, has gone on 5 different missions trips to Haiti, and I loved that he went. I loved being able to fully support him. And I think my favorite part was the ways that each trip changed him when he got back home. He was never the same as when he left. Hearing the stories too that only God could orchestrate, like, yes, they're all still in my heart, and I will like blab them all the time when I'm talking about like really cool things that God did when he was in Haiti. I also love the ministry and the people in Haiti that I have never met. But I was not ever going to be getting on a plane to go there. Then the Lord quietly was changing my heart, and I didn't even realize it until there was a day at the rummage sale that we help with to raise money for Haiti. 2 ladies were talking about the trip, and I'm like, well, yeah, the next time you go to Haiti, I guess maybe I'll come along. Uh, I like if I could have like stared at myself, I would have wondered what in the heck was going on because like I was never going to be going to Haiti. Um, Basically, what was an absolutely hard no had turned into a maybe through some confirmations and basically a lot of eye rolling to God because it was clear, like when you want a neon sign from the Lord, He was giving me a lot of neon signs. And it really just turned into fine. I guess I'm going to go. And then 2020 happened. So just like that, the trip wasn't possible. And since that time, Haiti has not been safe for us to serve in person. I was actually, if I'm being super honest, confused, but really probably mad. I would ask God, like, why did you do all of this work, softening my heart, spending all of this time, sending me all of these things, only for me to never actually get on the plane? It took some time, God's gentle patience for me to understand what he was really doing. So maybe God wasn't asking me to actually go to Haiti, but he was just asking me to be willing. The first step of service wasn't packing a suitcase. It was surrendering my absolutely hard nope. Service doesn't begin when our hands get to work. It begins when our hearts are willing to say yes to God. That's where the spiritual discipline of service starts. You don't need a plane ticket or a big platform. You don't need the recognition or the visibility. You just need your surrendered heart that says, yes, Lord, I'm willing. John 13 gives us a powerful picture of service from Jesus himself. During the Last Supper, Jesus stands, picks up a towel, wraps it around his waist, pours water into a basin, and then stoops low and begins washing the apostles' feet. But here's something to remember. He wasn't walking around with his apostles on like smooth roads, comfortable shoes. They walked, likely in sandals, on dusty, unpaved dirt paths littered with animal waste. So the duty of washing feet was not like a pedicure we go and get today. Washing feet was considered the absolute lowest chore in the household, typically reserved for the lowliest of servants or foreigners. We can safely assume no one was volunteering for the job. But Jesus didn't wait for someone else to pick up the towel. He didn't look around and be like, not my job. He didn't ask whose turn is it. He didn't pretend he didn't see the towel or know where it was. As a mom, I know where that moved well, right? He chose to serve. Not all of the people around the table that night were going to stick by him, and he knew that. But Jesus didn't skip over their feet. He stooped low with the towel round his waist and washed all of their feet. Jesus knew exactly who he was, where he came from, and where he was going. He wasn't trying to prove anything or earn anything from anyone. He was secure in the Father's love. He picked up a towel, washed feet. He didn't throw in the towel at how disgusting the feet were. When he was finished, he didn't wave the towel in a victory dance. He served. And when he was finished, he told them, "For I have given you an example that you also should do just as I have done for you." And that is found in John 13:15. Serving others isn't about earning God's love or proving we're better Christians than other ones. It is not saying yes to everything until we're exhausted and bitter. It's not about being everyone's savior. Jesus already did that. Service is choosing with intention and humility to lay aside our own preference in order to meet the needs of others. It is love in action, and it is completely countercultural to the way the world lives around us. We live in a world obsessed with titles, but so did Jesus. In fact, just before the Last Supper, the apostles had been arguing about who was the greatest among them. Then they witnessed Jesus stooping low and washing feet. Service is how we reflect the heart of Jesus. Service doesn't begin with our hands, it begins with our hearts. Mark 10:45 tells us that even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve. If Jesus was willing to stoop down low, we cannot believe that serving others is beneath us. It is part of following him. So while I haven't physically stepped foot in Haiti, I have served the people there. I have sorted donations for rummage sales. I have watched ordinary items become of something super extraordinary, and I have lots of stories if you ever want to hear them. I've seen God use clothes, dishes, toys, books, random treasures, bless not only the people who are buying them, but also people I may never meet on this side of heaven. It has taught me something I guess I thought I already knew, but needed that real life lesson to actually understand. We can fall into the trap of believing that service only counts when it looks big, brave, or far away. It only matters when people see it or are affected by it. But that isn't the least bit true. God uses surrendered people in all kinds of places. Some people get on the plane. Some people sort donations. Some people write big checks, and some people rock babies in the nursery. Some people preach to crowds, and some people send a text, "I'm thinking about you." Service is not about where our feet go. It is about whether our hearts are willing to say yes to what God has called us to. That yes will look different in different seasons. There will be times that service will feel big and visible. In other seasons, it will be quiet, ordinary, and unseen. That's why service is a discipline. It trains our hearts to stay soft, to stay alert, to stay surrendered, and to stoop low and pick up the towel. Jesus didn't have to wash the feet of his apostles. Simon Peter even was questioning him, but Jesus did it anyway, knowing that in less than 24 hours, he would be going to the cross to be crucified. Before he showed sacrificial love in the biggest way possible, Jesus chose to love by picking up a towel and washing feet. If we knew our time was short, would we do the same? Most of our service won't be seen by the crowds, sometimes not even by one person. It will happen in the middle of everyday moments and ordinary and mundane routines. Service will happen when we choose to pause long enough to love the person in front of us instead of passing by because we're too busy. Galatians 5:13 says, "Serve one another humbly in love." In theory, that sounds so simple, but if we get real with ourselves, it isn't always that easy. Serve one another, not to impress, compete, or resent, but humbly in love. Maybe the question isn't, what big thing do I need to do to prove that I'm serving God? The better question is, God, where are you asking me to be willing to say yes? He could be asking you to surrender your absolute hard no, Maybe he's inviting you into something unseen, uncomfortable, and a little messy. He could be asking you to notice someone you've been too busy to see. Maybe he's asking you to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start with what you already have in front of you: a suitcase, a food pantry, a frozen meal, a text message, a prayer, a listening ear, a few hours of your time. Service isn't about becoming more useful to God, it is becoming more like Him. The one who came to serve, not to be served. The one who knelt and washed feet. The one who gave himself completely. Following him might look like getting on a plane to Haiti or pricing items at a rummage sale, but it always begins in the quiet place of the heart when we surrender our absolutely hard no and are willing to say, yes, Lord. I would like to just take an opportunity to pray before you guys discuss the questions. Lord, thank you so much for this discipline of service. And I just pray for every woman hearing this, Lord, that you would gently speak to their hearts about where they could possibly be saying no to you right now, and they need to be willing to say yes, Lord. And I pray that you would just give them the bravery to walk into whatever you have for them and wherever you would like them to be, and just help the busy moms remember that their job at home is service too, and let us not think that we're not doing enough by serving our families and the people around us, Lord. And just thank you for this gift to become more like you, and let us use you as our example in service, Lord. In Jesus'